Hey everyone, welcome to another real estate video. This is Qatar, the real estate YouTuber here in Surrey, BC, helping you accomplish your home goals. Now, today's video might not be super relevant to you specifically, depending on where you are, but it's definitely relevant here in Surrey and probably in a lot of other places too. Here's what we usually see. There's a mix of older homes built in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, usually not so great areas, but there are some exceptions. And there are also a ton of new builds. The type with stucco interiors, wood frames, the 2x4s and 2x6s. I don't know. I'm not a construction guy, but you get what I mean. There are those modern homes that all kind of look the same, usually in strata neighborhoods. So today I want to talk about the pros and cons of buying an older home versus a newer home and help you figure out which might be more beneficial for your current situation. Now, I'll speak pretty broadly here, and I do have my personal opinions, but I'm just going to share what I've seen over the years selling homes, and hopefully that gives you some clarity for your own decision. Let's start with new built homes. It's newer, which is pretty sweet, right? Like that means things are usually more up to date. The air conditioning, the roof, the appliances, they're all probably newer and might last longer. For example, if the home was built in 2010 and you're buying it in 2025, the air conditioning unit is still pretty young, maybe even 12, 13 years old. So things are more likely to function better and even up to current building codes. But a quick heads up, if the house was a rental or had a not so great owner, newer doesn't always mean better. 2 or 3 years of bad maintenance can be worse than 30 years of good maintenance. So yes, it's newer, but still always get your due diligence done, get your home inspection done. That being said, for the most time, newer homes with an average care is still going to be in better shape than 30, 40, 50-year-old homes. Another benefit of newer homes is that the building standards are usually better. Most newer homes in Surrey or Lower Mainland, especially post 2000 stucco builds, follow this modern building code. Like, here's a random but an important example. Lead-based paints were banned in 1968. So if you're buying a home built after that, especially something like in 2005, you don't have to worry about that. Same goes for electrical plumbing systems. Generally, newer is better and safer. Also, with new builds, you don't usually see those weird add-on like carports turned into bedrooms or random patios being enclosed. That's because the homes were built with a complete layout, and there's not much need or even space to modify them heavily. Now, I have a home in Hope, and it has a carport that has two rooms. Behind it is kind of a room that don't make sense, but they are there. They're not big enough for a bedroom or an office. I don't know, that's what you get sometimes. Another benefit, you probably have a clear history of the ownership. If it's a 15-year-old home, you might be the third or the fourth owner, so it's easier to track what has been done. You can look up permits, upgrade repairs if it's just more transparent. Now, here's the con, and it's a big one for most people. Most newer homes are in neighborhoods with strata or a townhouse complex. So, if you want, I can make a video about strata discussing its pros and cons. Let me know in the comments. And trust me, people have strong opinions. Some folks hate them, others are like, whatever. But the bottom line is, if you're buying a new home, odds are you'll be dealing with a strata that usually charges a monthly fee and have rules to keep the neighborhood looking nice, which can be good or bad, like, depending on your personality. Builders started attaching strata to new developments to help preserve home value and appearances. So if strata bugs you, if you hate paying the fees or don't like restrictions, new build might not be your jam. All right, let's talk about older homes. When I say older, I mean more specifically like pre 1990s. A lot of these were built with brick, although not all of them. Here's a big pro in my book. There's a lot of character. Older homes just feel different. Newer homes can be beautiful, sure, but they tend to look the same. You drive down the street and you'll see a house again and again, just flipped or maybe different shade of beige. With older homes, you'll often find red doors, white picket fences, cool architectural details, just stuff that gives it personalities. Like some of these homes were customized over the years. Maybe someone knocked down a wall to open up the space or added a bedroom, enclosed the carport, you name it. They become more original over time. Another big pro of an older home is that the lot size. Like the new builds, they are efficient. They pack in many homes as possible into a subdivision. Older homes, though, if you often find larger lots, quarter acre, even half an acre in some cases. So, if a big backyard is important to you, maybe you want to build a pool, add a shed, or let the dog run free, older homes might be the better route. And yes, most older homes don't have a strata, which is awesome if you want to do your own thing. Paint your door hot pink, go for it. Put up a fence, no one's stopping you. But just keep in mind, if you want to put up a fence, the city usually has a limit as to how high you can go, or else you need to apply for permit. So check your local bylaws. But that can also be a con. If your neighbor paints their house neon green, there's nothing stopping them. It's the freedom, for better or for worse. And I like to give an example for this. I used to live in Richmond in someone's suite, and a few houses down, there was a car that was parked in the driveway. It was absolute junk. It had a funky paint scheme going on, and that's what comes to my mind. But not everyone is like that. So let's talk about maintenance costs. And this is a big downside of the older homes. Now, you don't always know the full history unless you get lucky with the same person that has owned it for 30 plus years. You often, the fifth or the 10th or the 15th owner, who knows what's been done or what's not done. You might still have aluminum wiring, which is more fire prone than modern copper wiring. You could be dealing with old plumbing, sewer lines, or outdated material, in this case, asbestos for insulation. Sometimes you'll find a gem where the major stuff has been updated, wiring, plumbing, roof, but usually only sometimes having been done. So you might be budgeting for a future upgrade. Older homes have a charm, yes, but that charm comes with repairs and surprises. You just have to be prepared. All right, that's my simple, honest breakdown of the pros and cons of new versus old homes. Here's my advice: be open to both at first. Then, as you tour homes, you'll start noticing a preference. Maybe if you like the charm and the yard space of an older home, or maybe you like the low maintenance and clean finishes of a newer build. Either ways, the grass grows where you water it. So if you focus on one direction, you'll probably find a home that fits you there. That's all I've got for today. Thanks for watching and hanging with me for this long. And if you're buying or selling in the Surrey, BC area, I'd love to help you. While the information is below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.